Boom. Yo, 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 yo. What up, y'all? We're back. We're live. Repliconradio.com. If you're listening, please let everybody know that YouTube is back up and running. We still don't know why YouTube's retarded, but we have to stop. Oh, we're not allowed to say that either, right?
Yeah,
but
can't say that word.
YouTube is
dumb.
Yeah.
Be stupid.
They do weird things, and you can't just pause the stream anymore to play music. You have to, it just stops it. So we have to restart. So a brand new stream works out great in the end, because if you want to come back and you want to check out the interviews, they're all separate. But if
I don't hate that part of it. I don't hate that part.
Yeah, that part's cool. But if you're tuned in live, you got to tune into multiple streams. And we got to rebuild the listeners.
So just know that it's not us doing that intentionally. It's not like, if we could figure out a way to where it doesn't do that, we would. But as of right now, that's how it's doing it.
That's right. But we are back. We are here, and we got a guest.
Hey!
Imagine that, man. So everybody, share the link, tell your friends, and then put your hands together and give it up for our good brand new friend, LYRIZONE. Yo, yo, yo.
What's up, man?
What's going on, brother? How are you?
Chilling.
So, how bad are we? I know you were tuned in earlier. How bad were we butchering your name?
It wasn't bad at all. You actually had it pretty spot on from the email.
Nice.
So.
Well, yeah, because I went back to his email and I was like, it's literally the pronunciation, LYRIZONE.
Yeah, usually between both of them, I hear LYRIZONE and LYRIZONE. Either one, I'm like, whatever. As long as you're fucking saying the name, it's fine.
Just
stay with Leroy.
So let's just start.
Leroy Jenkins.
I was gonna say, let's just start there. Like let's just get into where's the name? Like, where did it come from?
Believe it or not, it's gonna sound corny as fuck, but I came up with the name back in high school. It was something I just wrote down because I was doing like more like journalism and like creative writing and stuff like that as far as courses, and I had music appreciation. And I just wrote down top of the page because that was just more of like spoken word / little blank haikus I was writing. And then before I knew it, it started actually turning into actual lyrics for music, and then hip hop lyrics. And then next thing you know, I just took it and ran with it. And yeah, that was the name ever since.
So was it like a play on, like, was it supposed to be like lyric
it was
zone?
But you actually had it. It was pretty corny in the beginning. It's like the lyrics are in the zone. Something corny is that, where it started like that one, and then it went from just doing hip hop based stuff to now where it's more like new metal and horrorcore, to where I actually write my content based off of what I either deal with at that time, or if I usually watch horror movies 24/7, I binge watch. Just put myself in a more of a method actor type mindset, to where I pretty much had to go in the studio, create the sound effects, work with Foley as far as creating different sounds to emulate making a movie. And that's where I just took pretty much the basic answer is it's lyrics / zone. So it's very, very simple, but I think the music speaks for itself. So
I think that's the first artist that we've ever had go from journalistic writings and taking that into raps. Like,
yes,
that's such a transition there, man. It's like, holy shit.
Well, I take pride in what I do. So it started from just like basic writing and learning different verses, especially doing different writing structures. That's where I enjoy doing stuff, because I don't just try to do like an ABC format. I always try to mix up a little bit, and knowing your different writing structure usually helps.
Get your education, kids.
Yes.
Well educated, man. Well, I don't even know what to say anymore. Clearly, this guy's smarter than me. What the hell am I doing here? Jesus Christ. Yeah. So, okay. Well, there we go. And we just dropped the C because just cause, man.
Well, I mean, it wouldn't flow off the tongue right. LYRIZONE is, it kind of flows nicely. Lyric zone, it just doesn't.
I'm not even gonna lie, man. The first 5 times I looked at it, my brain wouldn't accept that there wasn't a C there. I was like, oh, it's lyric zone, and I'm like, wait. No.
LYRIZONE is so much easier to say, though.
It is. Well, if you did Lyric Zone, that'd be the only way I can actually do like live shows. If the mic starts like making hiccups or having audio problems, go lyric. Testing.
Feedback.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, that's what's up. We got that out of the way. Well, good having you, man. Thanks.
Well, thanks for bringing me on. It's great.
All right. Good talk.
That's all we want. That's really all we needed to know. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, first of all, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. We definitely appreciate it.
Absolutely.
So essentially, man, we've already learned so much in such a short amount of time, but we want to get to know you better, man. So you're actually from like the South Carolina area?
Yes, Somerville, South Carolina.
And you haven't so were you going to school for like journalism, and then you ended up?
I was not. Believe it or not, I was mostly didn't do anything until after 2015. That's when I started actually. I don't know if you're familiar with the grind mode cipher. I hit up Lingo when he was actually out there, and we did like a cipher per se in Hilton Head, South Carolina. And that was pretty much like before I started like transitioning to like doing like the dark scene, more like and more metal influence. I was just doing it, and it looks very, very cringy. When I first watching it back now, I'm like, damn, that's young as fuck. Like clean shaven, baby face. Like I still got the baby face going on, don't lie, but it looks young as hell. But definitely the style change from the East Coast, where I was just more focused on writing and just breaking stuff down of how it's supposed to be as fluent as it can, even going from learning how certain song structures from one Tech 9 for KOD. I was studying the engineering from Rob Rebeck. It was just a very, very interesting transition, because I will say back in South Carolina or back home, I did more research as far as of why and how, and when I came over here to Vancouver, Washington, off across the fucking globe, I just more honed in on production and making the music per se. So it was a very, very cool transition.
So prior to Grind Mode Cypher,
yes,
and like that was your first like rap experience. Yeah. Who were you? Who were you? What were you doing? What was your?
I was literally not doing much. I was just working retail the whole time, and I was pretty much just coming home, working, going home, pretty much not doing enough music to really make it an actual profession. I was more of a hobbyist at the time, because I didn't really aspire to do anything more than that. And I'm guessing the reason that pretty much I wasn't built up for at the time is I just didn't feel as confident. And I feel like I wasn't looking into it per se for a perspective of wanting to make something out of it and become the MC or being the artist that I am now. But it took a slow build up, and I'm just happy it got me to where I am.
Sure. So you were a fan. You were more so a fan of like the technical side of hip hop, which most people. Yeah. Most people
I really ranged from, it was either like Snow Goons to ASAP Rock. It would do the Army of Pharaohs. Then I would go back and forth to either like off the spectrum of like Dean Martin for his production, as far as like how he builds his actual sounds. They go to Rob Zombie. Like there's literally a fucking melting pot of what I grew up with, pulling inspiration from, and just like going from that point. So it was crazy, dude.
That's wild. But I mean, a lot of people maybe not a lot of people, but a lot of like underground horrorcore, what have you, like artists, they're more like, obviously they're inspired by other artists, but yes, they're not, it's not like a lyrical thing. It's not about how, like you were mentioning earlier, like, you know, starting in journalism and learning, you know, the techniques and stuff. That's not how most people are inspired. They're more inspired about, you know,
the emotion and pretty much having the that's the difference. Why I thought was kind of interesting for that style. See, a lot of people grew up to the actual genres or the music because they felt an emotional pull. They were having a really bad time, or they felt they weren't going like to a certain degree. They wanted to find a way to conduit or pretty much convert their feelings into an actual passion, or I guess an expression. For me, I didn't have that down, which was my little, I guess, handicap at the time. I was just mostly just basically learning a why, and the emotion didn't hit until later on, and then I started applying it to it, and the next thing you know, that's so like pretty much like you said, I had a very, very unorthodox type of introduction to hip-hop.
It's literally, I can't even, everything you're saying to me just blows my mind so far, because
well, I'm glad you're having fun.
It's almost it's like you did it backwards.
Yeah,
because like
definitely.
People, you know, like you said, people get inspired by an emotion or their emotion, or just an opportunity to release emotion or get it out there, get what you're feeling, even if it's happy, sad, fun, whatever it may be. It's all about that. And then later, as you become, you know, a professional, and you learn techniques, you learn about wordplay, you learn about, different rhyme schemes, but it's almost like you were a mathematician of hip hop, and then you later discovered there's emotion in it.
Exactly.
That's wild.
Well, that's the interesting thing I enjoyed myself too. Like that, like I said before, that's one of the things back home where I felt like it was a lot more of a handicap or deficiency, because I felt like I learned the technical stuff first, and I didn't really find a way to attach the emotion till later on. Where people are usually they're drawing records, writing stuff down, recording what they can in the moment, and then building the business plan later. Where I'm finding myself doing business first, building the rapport first, and then falling into the emotion, because I feel like I can tap into that side at any time that I can, because I found a way to make that work. But it's also a blessing and a curse, because now I found a way to easily put myself either go into the emotions of having current stuff going on, or finding a way to look through a glass per se. It's harder on the self as a person, because once you take all that accountability in, then you get kind of like in your feelings 24/7. You get really pretty much, you use it, again, stuck in your brain. And that's kind of like, I'm like, I enjoy doing the business. Is the one thing where I enjoy doing the business side of music, where some people hate it. Yeah. I kind of love it because it's very, very like cut and dry. Where people hate it because they feel it's just literally that you have to constantly be on top of it. Which is one of the reasons why I'm happy.
It's not creating. You know what I mean? Most people are, trying to be creators, and then you got to do actual work. That's not fun.
Exactly.
That's not creating. That's wild, man. But yeah, that's that can definitely be a struggle on either side of it, because one, the technical way, and a lot of times with emotion, you got to throw a lot of that shit out, and you can't if that's what you learned. You know what I mean? Like, which goes the opposite for people that are in it for emotion. All of a sudden, they need some technical and they can't get it because it feels like it's taking the emotion out. So was it a struggle for you to try to find that line between, okay, this is technically what I should be doing, but this is what I need to do, because you got a point where it's like you have to actually put your feeling into it, but you're also trying to sell a product that people can feel without stripping away the actual emotion just to make it. So is that like a struggle?
The funny thing about what that one is that's what kind of like hit it to my last project, where between the one I have coming out, my first LP, and my opening debut LP that I released of last year in Halloween, the last year Halloween one, I found a way to bridge the connection between working at business ethics as far as like exactly how to promote it, how to do the song structure, spending months to years learning how to formulate the album properly, whether it be just releasing it to work the songs as far as singles do well, and as well as the album, to building a concept album, because that's something I always wanted to do, and I'm still doing, which is a little more difficult, especially nowadays. Everyone doesn't feel concept albums are really that big of a deal. They rather just have singles and just drop them throughout the year. But I use the emotion that I had as far as my negative aspects, things I've grown attached to that still resonate, and I put that on the project, and I still found a way to make it creative. So it's not like the same person saying the same regurgitated bullshit. I wanted to find a way to twist it a little bit to cater to my audience that tries to enjoy horror movies. Whether it be dealing with, like, there was a song Parasite with Kung Fu Vampire and Twisted Insane. That was pretty much like a heartbreak or a fucking heartbreak gone wrong or a breakup gone wrong. But I use that to our normal everyday situation, but I also tried to incorporate different styles, different techniques, different themes. So it's not just the same song structure, same style, same vibe. And that's where I'm kind of like enjoying it, because with this one, I'm doing the same thing for Pleasant Defects. That one, I'm more like going to like film summits. I'm going to learning about for method actors and how they get themselves mentally into place. I'm learning how producers, when they do live stream lives, whether it be on Twitch, they go to on YouTube. I don't see a lot of Facebook stuff now because Facebook's being censored every fucking time. But I'm seeing a lot of stuff as far as like learning platforms. I'm just learning the actual genre. Because once I can find a way to put my spin on it, make it unique, then you find a selling point. Everyone's just trying to capitalize on what somebody else did. And I said, that's cool. But if you have your own distinct sound, your own distinct image, and a way to make yourself different, then it's going to sell itself eventually.
You're way too smart.
Yeah.
What is happening here? Oh, I love it though. That's awesome, man. Like, you definitely know, you know what's going on, and it's good.
I try.
Cool. So going back to So, I mean, we're just talking what 2015 is when you.
Yes.
So before that, were you writing? Were you studying the
I was
process
more
of
just writing. Believe it or not, it was just like basic blank verses, usually ones that didn't have any rhythmic nature or rhymed at all. Mostly stuff of just, I guess, just say journal or whatever they want to say for the jargon for it, but just writing stuff down.
So what?
I believe they call it jotting. They just jot it down.
So what was it from just being a fan? Well, first of all, what were you listening? I mean, you mentioned some stuff, but like in that time period specifically, what were you listening to? What was inspiring you to want to write? And what was there a time?
I'll be honest with you, I think Vinny Paz is what got me into it first, which I think Vinny Paz is a very, very strong lyricist. Went to more immoral technique, not because I just enjoyed the actual lyricism and the way he could put this audience and immerse them in their actual like mindset of what he's saying. It went from that to like I think fuck his name is Mac the Knife. I think it was fucking Bobby Caldwell. Not Bobby Caldwell. Fuck, Bobby Darin or fuck his name is. But especially for like old school like 80s, even 60s. But yeah, I just loved really like strong lyricism growing up. And my father was more into like Black Sabbath, really, really like old school rock, even Anthrax. But that's what he tried to get me on. I was like, I'd rather do hip hop instead. Like I still enjoyed metal and I still enjoyed rock because most of the lyrics are very, very hard to actually like set in your brain. Like War Pigs presents, see from Ozzy Osbourne for or Black Sabbath War Pigs. That's a very, very strong lyrical song, but I was just more captivated by like I said, Vinny Paz. I don't know whether it was more propaganda type idea or if it was just the actual like content that he was creating.
Gotcha. So were you? So I got it. Do you do production or anything like that? Like
I do not. Believe it or not, since I moved, when I was back in South Carolina, I was doing all myself, and I had like just a basic Scarlett I2I, and then I had a Blue Yeti and all that stuff like that. But now, since I came over here and when I changed from South Carolina to Vancouver, I want to change my mindset because I felt like at that point I had to make this a career step. So I went to Josh Highland of Grand Line Studios, and ever since I went to him, like I've been recording with him, whether we're just sitting down discussing how to make production, who we're gonna have produce the project, either watching videos of how to go through Cubase. Like when I came over here, I really enjoyed it. But I go to him for everything. I pretty much been starting the podcast. It's a Musicians Past podcast I started, I want to say back in April. I started that to genuinely bring artists in different genres that I'm not familiar with and bring them on a platform and learn from them, and also interview them per sense, have fun, learn everything about music that I can, because you never know what you can learn from different genres and emulate or find a way to fill that void that you're trying to learn inside yours. So I can go from hip-hop artists to pretty much like I had it like interview Josh. He has this rock from his last band Carmody, but that was something I enjoyed doing, and I just want to keep on learning. I don't want to stop, not want to learn what the culture has to bring, whether it be just regular pop and then learn about horrorcore and learn how people, their brains work and stuff like that. But yeah, back to you.
It just seems like the fact that you're so interested in the creation of a song lyrically and the techniques and the technical side of hip hop, it just seemed like you would naturally just progress to the actual technique and building of the music behind the hip hop. But I guess it's just the lyric. You're more focused on the lyrical side of it. So Vinny Paz, you're doing this, you're getting into writing, you like lyrical content. What was it that said, okay, I'm sick of writing in this journal, I'm gonna just jump out of my fucking skin and go to a damn grind mode cipher? Like, how did the process from journaling to grind mode, like, that's not a normal step.
It's really not. I will say it's probably a lot of friends I grew up with that was more musically inclined, that want to actually do stuff with music, record. Like back in the East Coast, they have a place called Frankie's Fun Park, and don't not judge me when I say this. And they had more for like games, and you go outside and they have like a little like golf course, stuff like that. Well, they had a recording booth inside of the actual game place. So mind you, this is really, really early, and I was just like a noob at this point. So I literally started freestyling in the booth like every single freaking person does. And I started realizing I actually liked the way it actually sounded back as far as the actual voice and recording. And I fell in love with it through a joke as far as recording. And then next thing I know, I went home and said, fuck, I need to start reinvesting in some money and get the recordings on the way. And yeah, it was, so recording wise, it was definitely a hiccup per se, because I was more stuck on writing for the longest time. But yeah, it was weird.
I get it. It can be addicting, man. Like I know that like when we host shows, it's addicting. Like for me, that I like, having the microphone in my hand, being able to hear myself on the stage, and like and see and be in front of the audience. I mean, it's addicting.
It feels so good.
I get it. To hear your voice and all that stuff, and to feel that moment. I mean, I'm not a recorder. I'm not an artist, but I get it. You hear your voice for the first time in the studio, and you're like, that's fucking cool. I like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
I think there's steam coming out of his ears. Like I can see smoke coming up.
Who?
Yours.
No. I love it. So, Grind Mode Cypher 2015. So, like I said, you loved it, you enjoyed it. Where you at? So, what happens next? And like you mentioned earlier, you were just a small baby-faced child, and now you're a scary Michael Myers.
From that point, I just started making music. I had some people hit me up back in like when I started actually becoming like a music artist on Facebook. They started a little group team, and as far as recording, I joined with them a while, and we were doing some stuff, and the band disbanded. So after they disbanded, I was like, okay, I need to start, because at that point I was making music enough as far as like featuring on the tracks, making my own. Even when it came to the point of doing like freestyle Fridays or whatever, and we would just like go in recording and just record a certain like 16 or whatever and release it to the public. But at that mindset, I was, like I said before, I was business ethics as far as trying to build a platform, build a brand, because I was trying to find a way to work with them and I guess work to their point, because they were artists as well. And I pretty much just formulated the idea that I need to start like reinvesting. And yeah, I just got to the music scene and started building the brand. I don't think the blue LYRIZONE mask, as far as the blue one, that didn't come in until I came pretty much in over here. As far as like being dominant, I still showed the mask back in South Carolina, but it didn't become as prominent until I moved out here. But it's been a process as far as just changing things up. But the interface first came with a very, very small, as far as music, nothing was really released as far as really professional. So I would say technically, if we're going to base on technicality, it didn't start as far as being an actual brand until like a year and a half ago. But yeah, it's like I said, when I moved out here, it was been very interesting, because I definitely took more time in developing it inside the bell there, because nothing fucking happened over in South Carolina as far as building LYRIZONE. It was just a writer or a ghostwriter per se.
I got you.
Yeah.
So you were originally, you were writing, you were doing, were you writing for other people? Were you doing?
I honestly, I thought about it for a while, but then after, like I said, I want to get back into just being me, myself, and being LYRIZONE. I started realizing that that's one thing I did not want to see inside the hip hop community. Like, if it's different, because I guess I grew up with a mindset that where people, if you're writing your stuff, you need to be generic. Well, not generic, sorry, be genuine with it. And if you're more of like a pop singer and stuff like that, I guess it just depends on the person. But it's kind of shamed down and looked down on if you're a hip hop artist and you don't write your own stuff. So that's where I was kind of like, if I do get good as far as song structure and songwriting, I don't want to be like, obviously if someone credits you for it and pays you millions of dollars, then it's one thing, but I don't know. I just don't think I can like lower myself to be a ghostwriter. Yeah. But it was an idea at first, but then I realized, nope, I like what I'm doing. No one else is having it.
For sure. So how did the so obviously now you got the mask, the the image, the gimmick, whatever it is. Who is this character? Where did they come from? Like, why did you start? Like, why did it start? And I'm assuming it all started with the release of Sweet Release last year.
Yes, sir.
Where it all kind of began. So who?
As far as the start,
yeah, like who's this guy? Where did he come from? Why is he hiding in the woods? Why is he? What's happening?
Well,
what are you doing?
Well, the photo I think I sent to you guys is when we did at what's called I think it's Talamert Mountain or whatever. But essentially, I was building, as far as the lyric or LYRIZONE himself, I'm basing pretty much. I'm not going to use like Joseph Marino being this one person, then LYRIZONE being the second person. I was like, no, LYRIZONE's going to be the image as far as like just taking all like negative emotion and reflecting it. So I use. I don't try to emulate as far as like shadow too much, but I do try to emulate as far as like watch a lot of horror movies. The image is pretty much based off of, I guess, I'm trying to sound like that very like cookie cutter, but it's going to be a metal version of a horrorcore artist that is trying to find a way to bridge the gap between rock and metal and horrorcore rap. Because horrorcore has always had dark, grungy influence. It's always had metal influence as far as like actual rock being played into it, but never had to where it's kind of like Limp Bizkit or Rage Against the Machines would make it a horrorcore version. I've seen people try and I've seen like phases of it, but I just want to be distinctly like horrorcore rock metal.
Like Kid Crusher, kind of? In the vein of Kid
Crusher? To hear it.
Like kind of in the vein of Kid Crusher?
I was not as much as I used to be, because I still respect him as far as an artist. But Kid Crusher is kind of like one of those. I think he has more dubstep now. So I think it's more like it's still metal, because I think I remember a few albums where it's just straight metal. But I have heard a little more as far as like 808 incorporated into the actual like production as well. Where with mine, I love doing that, but I also like to build the tracks around horror films and horror settings, where I don't want to have just very, very gritty sound and very, very gritty lyrics. I want to build a story with it, which with LYRIZONE, I have fun because I get to create stories, I get to play out the stories and pretty much build a story around a soundtrack and vice versa. And that's kind of where I love it, because LYRIZONE essentially is a walking horror movie.
So, Joseph.
Yes.
Is there other people or other characters or artists inside of you besides LYRIZONE? Because
you'll find out.
You keep referring to LYRIZONE as someone else. So,
well, there's only one LYRIZONE, because LYRIZONE's pretty much like the person. But like for Pleasant Defect, I open up for the track coming out on the 13th. The first track is called The System. Essentially, I pulled it from watching I did Clockwork Orange. I pulled Hostel out of the mind. I pulled Eraserhead, believe it or not. Mostly a lot of movies that I was trying to like, as far as like watching it and trying to bring some creative juices out. And it starts with pretty much, I'm not going to divulge too much to track out, but as far as the opening, it is a surgeon working on my brain per se, and trying to fix the optic nerve, because I always had eyesight problems for the longest time. And when he goes to fix the optic nerve, he actually takes the whole fucking brain off, or the whole scalp up, and starts diving into the brain as far as like fucking around the brain and shit like that. And throughout the whole LP, you'll see a transition from my mindset to talk about very, very like high-end, like controversial shit, to stuff that bothers me personally, to stuff that I just like reflect upon and think on. It's going to be a very interesting LP to bring up, because to answer your question, I think that's going to show exactly who LYRIZONE is.
This shit's deep. I wasn't ready for this. So that's the new single. That's The System. Is that the?
Yes, The System.
And that's dropping for everybody September 13th, and that's going to open up.
Yes, it's going to open up the theme of what makes LYRIZONE and who I am, and pretty much it'll go off the same momentum for Sweet Relief, because Sweet Relief had introductions for LYRIZONE, but it didn't really have who I am and what my thought process is, what I contribute to the culture. With this one, it's going to be kind of like a stamp of, hey, this is who I am. Check this album out. If you have a question about who I am, you'll find it here.
And then you're gonna find all that in the system, or you're gonna find that on the LP?
It's gonna find out in the actual. The system is one of the projects, or one of the songs on the actual album that shows the personality. But I will say the whole project in itself is gonna pretty much open a little bit of eyes. The system per se, from inside or outside looking in, it looks like it's gonna sound like a political track or something like that, but it's really, really not. It's actually gonna be more like the person, as far as the surgeon working on the person, and the system essentially is diving into the person's mindset, tweaking them to pretty much manipulating the person to do what they feel, whether psychologically, physically, and manipulating, where the system is kind of like me being worked on, but also finding a way to break that curve, notice the issues, notice what's going on psychologically as far as like certain things throughout life, and then twisting and saying, fuck that, I'm going my own way, which that's kind of what the horrorcore music per se. I don't want to have the same style. I don't want to have the same stuff that people have been listening to for the longest time. A lot of people will either like my stuff because they think it's different, or they're not going to like it. Either way, it's still a good on my end. But I'm just looking forward to the system track as far as what people think about it, because it is different. There's definitely hip-hop elements into it. Ill Fortune produced it, and Joshua Holland for Greenlight Studios. I just told Josh, because he gave me a hip-hop beat that we started off with, I said, let's just go ahead and run with it as far as add some metal influence to it. I'm going to do the pre-chorus. We're going to break down each piece. This is how it like starts very, very like calm and collected to we just build up. And from, if you listen to the last one as far as Sweet Relief, Nowhere to Hide as far as production, we did sort of similar to same things where I tried to engage my audience and not just stay one tone. I tried to accommodate the song in different vocal styles, so that way it kind of shows the person that they're getting really, really happy and get more irritated. Because like I said, I do genuinely live in my products, and that's where my creativity lies. Yeah.
Holy shit.
I'm probably talking too much on this interview.
I love it.
How dare I?
No, that's what you're supposed to do. You're definitely supposed to do that. It's so deep, man. I love it. So with all like, that's a lot of stuff, and we're talking about one single here. Like, if someone was a casual listener, they just happen to see your name, or they're like, oh look, LYRIZONE is on Replicon, let me go check it out, and they just go and listen to your songs on streaming or something, are people gonna catch? Do you think a casual listener would even understand all the intricacies of the details of things that you're...
Most likely not. Because I will say there's been time, especially for like this one, I had to shave down the time a little bit, because a lot of tracks were like the Intrusion I had with Gruesome Dubs of Mars. That was the longest actual song I've ever produced. I think it was like 5 minutes and 35 seconds around there. And that was a pretty long track, like for how it was, but we made it work because we had to find a way to keep the listeners engaged. But I will say, for the first person listening in, I think they're gonna like the new product, the new sound, because I'm not gonna try to compromise the goals by shortening the songs to make the attention span of the listener quicker to read. Because like I said, for a horror film, you don't want to fucking go too fast as far as production, because that's why you get lost in the current. Yeah. It's not gonna like punch in. But I have found a way to keep the audience engaged. I'm finding out now to where, like, certain ways I bring up certain songs, like as far as the intro, instead of before with the last one I just had the beat ride for like 30 minutes or 30 minutes, Jesus Christ, it felt like 30 minutes, 30 seconds, and then do the actual jump or do the actual chorus. Now I'm doing it to where there's a little more dialogue in the beginning to, like, I guess, get the ambience going, get the audience engaged, and then we drop the chorus. I might just start doing that. But I do think the audience, as far as listening right now, they're going to be a little more easier to read on this album coming up instead of like the last one. Because I felt the last one was more of a film type experience to where you just play at nighttime, started from start to finish. Like even how we did the intros and the outros, where when the outro it plays, you can hear like the film reel being played in the background, like the movie is ending. We did something like that, but with this one, it's just going to be like, I guess, a more relevant version. So, but yeah, I think they're going to be able to understand it and get a little more faster into it and actually perceive it a little easier.
That's what's up. So is the how do I word this? So is the LYRIZONE story, is this something that, like, is there like a story you already have? Is this already written? Do we have a beginning, middle, and end, and you just have to get there? Or is it being written as you go?
The beginning is going to start with essentially the surgeon going in to fix the eyesight. Essentially, for LYRIZONE itself, it's pretty much, I'm going to play off my character of finding all my imperfections in the world and myself and saying, fuck it, I'm going to go ahead and deal with it. Because a lot of people, they look at like depression, they look at self-loathing, financial instability, a lot of lyricism that doesn't feel their a series of feelings of inadequacy, stuff like that, and they create music off it, which I do too. But at the same time, I want to find a way to put it in a music form, which that's where I'm starting with the system, because with this one system,
you're gonna crack this. You're gonna crack this thing open. You're gonna find out all these things that you just talked about that are inside of you, and we're gonna go and we're gonna process each one of these. We're gonna go through this. That's how we're gonna learn about LYRIZONE.
Well, that's the thing too, is I want to leave it open for impression. I don't like projects or songs or artists that just leave it just at face value. I want to give something a little bit different. That way you can take whatever you fucking want off this one, take whatever you feel you think the artist is, and run with it. Like, I don't want to have just someone say, oh, he's that horrorcore artist, Vancouver. It's like, no. I want to make sure that when I release this, you have, like, what side of the coin is he on? Is he on the happiness side about making music like this? Is he doing a very, very bad time? Is he mentally not there? Like, what's going on? Like, that's the type of stuff that I enjoy doing, because at some point I want to use this character and artist name to find that out myself. Mind blown.
Everyone's mind. Literally everyone. Are you guys with us? Jesus.
I'm here.
So is Pleasant Descent, is it
Pleasant Defect?
That's what I meant. Pleasant Defect. I'm so sorry.
Yes.
Is
because I actually found that a title out. If you're curious, I found out the title because I felt like right now, as far as artistry, everyone's trying to pump out content, that everyone's trying to be like somebody else, or they're trying to find a way to make their sound work, or trying to find a way to put their stamp of validation. But by Pleasant Defect is that I'm finding that I'm going by radio quality content. I'm finding ways to make the production exactly what you see on the freaking radios, as far as their quality of the hertz, the freaking sound levels and waves, their writing structure. But I'm going to completely dissect that shit to a T, to where I can show them, hey, so I did exactly what you did, but this is everything you're doing fucking wrong. And then I apply that to my own sense of my own storytelling, and yeah.
Get them. So is it?
It's gonna be interesting. I'm gonna look forward to it, man.
Is this a continuation of?
It is.
Sweet Relief.
For Sweet Relief is actually the build up, because I actually was starting Sweet Relief to where it ends on the outro to where something's coming out of the ground, because I did a track with Lex the Hex Master. It's called Wake the Dead, or Operation Wake the Dead. Essentially is LYRIZONE coming up from the grave, which is more of a spirit per se, and pretty much the whole thing ends to where it is pandemonium, chaos breaking, people rising from the ground, and all this epic shit like Thriller. And it pretty much leads into the new one where it says to be continued, and that's when you open up with the intro coming up now, to where I'm pretty much like paying people from the UK to do like special voice acting for radios, for old time radio. We're gonna try to find a way to emulate an old time radio, as far as like the music being cranked, changing channels, to whether we had to actually rewatch Jeepers Creepers to find out the song structure and find out the actual like quality they used for Jeepers Creepers. And I'm pretty sure you guys know that actual movie. Yeah. But toward the end, we said, where did you get those eyes? Like, we literally found a way to make that sound exactly the same as far as like the quality and creepiness, and we're going to use that to build up this one. So
that's fucking madness. Jeepers Creepers.
Where'd you get those peepers? Which I actually made that reference in the system. It's pretty actually funny, because at this point, I don't want to tell too much about the system, but essentially it's after I leave the actual facility or surgical, I guess, location, and then I try to search for that pair of eyes that could fix me. And it just I could actually quote that line. keep curious where you get those eyes.
That's crazy.
But yeah, it's pretty good.
So is the system is that basically like track 1 of the record?
Track 1, yes.
Okay. Because it's the beginning of the story, because it all goes together.
Yes.
Can't listen to it out of order.
Definitely not.
He will come kill you in your sleep if you listen to him out of order. Don't you fucking dare listen to him.
Don't you dare.
Don't you do it.
So Sweet Relief, for everyone who's like, holy shit, I gotta hear this. We're not playing it tonight, but it comes out in 5 days.
Good luck.
5 days. 5 days.
Only 5.
Only 5 days. The 13th, right? Am I right?
Yes.
That's correct information. So when is there a date for the Pleasant Defect?
Pleasant Defect? It's not, because right now there's a couple things I'm still locking in. One feature I have to get on there, Brett Lynch Hung. I want to get him on this project so much. I've already got the production started for that track. I'm gonna probably reach out to him as soon as we get that done. But as far as track to track for this one, I'm not in no rush. This is an LP, and since it's independent, I have a lot of things planned for this project as far as either music videos. I want to do short stories with the project after every single one. I just hit my video guide today to see if we can get something for the system, either whether it be a short little video to hype it up after the release, or just do something as far as a music video. This whole project is going to be an experience, so I'm in no rush to get it out, because that's where I feel if I release singles, whether it be every single song being recorded and put out, and then toward the very end we have to remaster the project, whatever works. But I will say I'm in no rush to put out good quality content, because at this point, even though I hate to say it like this, I am in no competition with anybody else. I'd rather just be the best me I can be as far as releasing my stuff, instead of worry about somebody else. Because toward the end of the day, when this project's released and it's my legacy, I want everyone to know that I put my time into this, and it was just based off of what the best I can bring to the table at that point in time, and not just trying to accommodate the curve.
That's what's up. Absolutely. Be the best you can be. 100%.
Always do it.
So, man, I feel like I'm just sitting and I'm just Indian style inside your brain.
Crisscross applesauce.
Just looking around what is all this? Which part do I touch? What, you know what I mean? What's going on? So, man, I'm trying to figure it out. So from being inspired by hip hop in general and lyricism, what was it that led you down this path? You just absolutely love horror movies. That's what led you down to
yes.
Horror. It has nothing to do with the genre of horrorcore. It's your love for movies.
I more love horror movies too. It's kind of a sickness at this point. But I literally am infatuated. I'm infatuated with horror movies, because I feel like when I first started, especially with my dad, listening to really strong rock music, as far as very, very dark themes, I feel like I grew attached to the actual horror films, because one, I feel accommodates to all senses, whether you could feel really anxious, whether it be upset. I just enjoyed watching it. So at this point, that's what I usually always do before I write songs. I've been finding ways to just watch movies either about it or find some inspiration. Huge inspiration to this day is still Hellraiser. I love Hellraiser. I don't know what the fuck it does as far as pulling emotionally, but I enjoy it.
Nothing wrong with that. What is man, what's that guy's name? You heard of the J Hex project?
I have.
You guys are the same people or something. He's not really, but that's his whole thing, man. This horror movies. I feel like you guys would be best friends.
I'll have to check him out.
Yeah, his whole thing is just horror movies, and it's obscure. We had him on. He named a ton of old school horror movies, and we talked about the first slasher. I wish I remembered all that stuff. But yeah, he's from the West Coast as well.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely check him out. Shout out to him. So what was it that led you from to from South Carolina to Washington?
Believe it or not, it was actually family passing away. My dad passed away, and I was pretty much sitting there. I was like, okay, I can either sit here, ex-fiance, all this crap, and she did her thing. We both separated, and I was like, okay, I'm sitting here with heartbroken, and I'm sitting here with pretty much a situation to where I can't find any positive. So I'm gonna fucking just pack up and leave. So I literally just told all the friends and family, I said, guys, I'm going to the West Coast. They're like, how far are you going? I'm like, I'm going all the way. I'm going all the way to fucking Vancouver.
Going to the ocean.
And like, that's across the fucking planet. I was like, yeah, because I needed a change, and I felt the road trip across way was both inspiring mentally and also physically, as far as like learning the whole country. But I just had to get out, do something different, refresher, and just get the fuck out.
Yeah. Well, sorry to hear about all that, but glad you found your way to a fresh new world.
Oh yeah. Well, it took some work. Don't get me wrong. It took especially from starting brand new and saying, okay, so now what? Like, what are we gonna do? But it definitely paid off.
Hell yeah. So Halloween last year, the sweet relief dropped on the planet, and LYRIZONE was born. That's the story began. What trying to think here, man. So like, you're inspired by horror movies. You're basically putting your own horror movie to music with your own story to tell. What was it that led you into the underground world, though, the horrorcore world? How do you end up linking up with people like Lex the Hexmaster and Gruesome and Dubs and Mars? Like,
I'll be honest, I don't really more remember. I know I seen Gruesome to one. He was pretty much, I saw him on YouTube, and I was just clicked on him, and I liked the music, and I think it started off with, it wasn't a track more horrorcore type theme, but he just made a little more like, I guess when he was still doing the Tyler Lambert thing, where I think he like separated for Gruesome for a little bit and was just recording after that. And then after he went to that, and I checked his other stuff out, and then I enjoyed the sound. But I think the way I got transitioned into it was trying to be the first actual artist. I want to say Sutter Kane was one. I'm pretty sure Sutter Kane was where I first started, as far as horrorcore itself. And then I started actually looking to the community, see what I had to offer, see the pros, see the cons. But that's where I started. It started pretty late. I want to say I probably got into the horrorcore scene about maybe 4 years ago, roughly. That's just outside looking in. But yeah, it's a really good community. A lot of creatives, a lot of people actually try to sit their neck out and actually have fun and do stuff. But yeah, it's been interesting. But as far as Lex and all them, I stumbled upon Lex, I want to say about a year before the actual album was put together. And liked the sound as well, and I was like, okay, I put him on the track, put him on the album. So it was a very fun project, because I felt like everybody that contributed to it had their own like identity with it. It wasn't just a feature on the project that just wrote a 16 to. I felt like they actually took time and did it.
For sure. No, that's awesome, man. It's it's every path you take is so different than everyone else's. I love it. I love it. It's just crazy.
It's a nice, refreshing take on how they got their start.
Right.
I appreciate it.
You're just in we're all in a maze, and you just went a different direction, and ended up.
Yeah, it's actually pretty funny, because now you tell my engineer, told Josh, he was wondering when I first came to the scene, he's like, you're the most kindest and like soft-spoken horrorcore artist ever. I was like, yeah, but I had to buy it. I don't know why, but I just do this so well enough to where it's a little off-putting sometimes, because I don't act like those inside my actual genre and go about the same learning measures and same like ways they go about things. I do it completely the opposite, which I guess is good and also bad, because it's hard to relate to someone who doesn't go through the same things and doesn't go through the same, like, I guess, patterns of thought process. But also it's easier because when I see someone who does things a little bit differently, I like to say, okay, well, how'd you learn that? And then I find a way to say, okay, well, this is where I'm doing wrong. This is what I'm not picking up on, and this is where I need to start like getting better at. And yeah, it's fun.
He's like the Dexter of horrorcore rap, where he actually becomes a forensic pathologist before killing the people. Instead of killing the people to try to figure out how they work, he figures out how they work and then kills the people.
Yes.
It's fantastic.
Like legit.
Good.
Like mad.
Good.
Yeah.
Don't go like Hannibal. This is my design. It's really not.
Yeah. but it is. It's exactly. It's like, you're like you said. You're soft spoken. You're smart. You know what I mean? The shit's intricate as fuck. Like you have this whole game plan. You're just gonna fucking murder everyone.
I wish I heard this story more often. Like
in the end, it's just gonna be murder.
Like I love the idea of lyricists so much. I want to learn everything about it and learn the structure and how to deliver and all that stuff. And then I'm gonna rap rather than you should check out my mixtape on SoundCloud.
It's like, it's like everything is mapped out, everything's planned. There's this intricate story. It's crazy. Congratulations for you on being
good for you being you.
Good
Thank
job.
you.
Good job, you.
That's
good
great.
Job, you.
Bucko.
Pat in the back.
So I guess I'm trying to think of things that you can't have smart answers to. So the image, the
mask.
Yeah. So Casey Jones and Michael Myers had a baby.
It's a boy.
Sort of. Believe it or not, I would actually not get used to the actual mask as far as like just the look of it now, because I got a new one being made for December for pretty much just gonna have the same exact color, same line work. But as far as inspiration, I don't want to say Jason because I wasn't really that big with Jason fan growing up. I know it's gonna be kind of like a really, really fucked up thing to say. We even had like a little horrorcore / podcast thing done like about last week, 2 weeks ago, and you were talking about horror movies, and I was telling myself that's not really my main gimmick per se. As far as I don't like playing copycat, but for horrorcore itself, like it's really, really hard to make your own image unless you're just gonna walk around in a fucking suit and pull like American Psycho type shit. But as far as the mask itself, I found ways to make it unique, and I feel like the mask itself is a little more unique. It's kind of like comparing it to like Mushroom Head, where they had their own style.
Yeah.
I was just or if you want to say Buckethead.
Yeah, there you go. KFC Bucket.
I don't know if Buckethead's even still around. I think he is.
I think he took.
You know who Bucket? I think Buckethead's still around. I don't know if he's still making music.
He was doing music with Bill Moseley, man, not that long ago.
Oh shit!
He's still around.
More now.
Horror icon. You should know about this stuff, horror guy.
I should. Okay, maybe I was testing you. Well, you win.
Haha. The funny part is I believe you. he's been like studying the show for months and like he knows everything about us.
He has been.
He knows all of it.
He was waiting to make his move. Yeah.
Like you're probably more scarier than the scary people in the horror movies because you're so smart and intricate. You could plan things. Like mad scientist.
It's premeditated.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna peacefully explain to you how he's gonna dismember you while he's doing it.
Well, that's just.
I'll put some music on. Put some elevator music on. Calm her down.
Yeah, like I said, you're the Dexter of the horrorcore world.
Works,
well, I appreciate the sentiment because it's actually it's a pretty good show.
I love that show, and you know what? I was not mad at the ending. Everybody was pissed off at the ending. Says the worst ever. I didn't hate it.
I felt like it was deserved, though. I mean, if anyone who actually hates the actual ending, like my girlfriend told me the same thing, she kind of thought it was like kind of iffy. I'm like, how? Like, it's good.
I was actually happy with the ending because. Spoiler alert, if you don't want to hear it, tune out, whatever, it's been not long enough. I'm excited because it opened up a potential to a continuation. I
didn't get any spoilers out of that.
Yeah, I know.
You said spoiler.
Because this body doesn't allow me to spoil. All right?
I was looking forward to this. I didn't watch the show.
Dexter gets away. There you go.
Okay.
But that's the thing. He starts a whole new life, and it's like, all right, well, shit. If they get tired and they were like, well, fuck, we're gonna do Dexter 2.0.
He moved to Vancouver, Washington, and started to become a rapper.
He was like were you a fisherman in a past life? Because I think he became a fisherman first.
I plead the fifth.
Why would he tell you that?
Plead the fifth.
There you go.
Duh. So Dexter's new single comes out in 5 days.
There it goes. There it goes.
And he's gonna take part of the mask off, and they're gonna open up his brain, and we're gonna see all the things that make him tick, and we're gonna open up to this character's morality, and we're gonna learn about ourselves. Whoa. Joey Lawrence.
Joey Blossom. Whoa.
That was before your time, bro.
Sir, I was actually told that 24/7. I had the Blossom red cheeks. Oh, it's Blossom. It's Joey. Whoa. I'm like, stop that. Like, stop the reference. I'll fucking watch it. Oh, it's probably it's two after your two before your time, Joe. I'm like, I'm still gonna watch it now. Fuck it.
Whoa.
We'll watch it in spite.
That's right, man.
I'll put that a random punch in for you guys on one of the tracks. Just go whoa and just credit you guys for that.
Whoa.
I can't wait. Now I'm more excited. I was already excited. So the system comes out September 13th. I'm excited to hear this. For anyone that may be discovering you right now, and they go and they listen to Sweet Relief, which obviously we learned is, there's a lot of things going on in this music, and there's a lot of deep and sentiments and a lot of things happening. So if someone were to go right now and listen to Sweet Relief, what do you want them to get out of it? What should the listener like is there like, now that it's out and you can talk about that one, is there something you're like, I hope people got this, or I hope somebody figured this out, or this is what I was trying to get at that could maybe help new people like uncover the mystery?
I would say as far as like, if you're trying to start your passion as far as making music, and you feel as though if you write stuff down, you are just gonna not have fun, or you're gonna feel if you're writing a song down as far as emotional, and you feel like it's could be too much or too hard on you mentally, it's not. Like, most of when Sweet Relief was done, a couple songs were like mentally taxing, took like a couple months to cover over. Like, it wasn't like a Dada from Korn type thing, but it was more of the mentality of, okay, this energy, it's still with me. Like, still feel the energy of when I was building the song. This is fucking nuts. But as soon as I pretty much let the feeling go as far as building the character or putting the emotion into it, investing time and investing passion into it, once it's put into something, it's worth it. Don't look at it at face value of, oh, I gotta put the song in, and it's probably gonna just either be a not good for me mentally. No, just stop doubting yourself and put it out.
Just do it.
Yes, Shalabah. Just do it.
I love that he's getting all these references.
So much.
Fantastic.
Well, just the fact that you mentioned that Korn Daddy, it's like, God, now I want to like fucking throw something.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, though, is that's another thing my father had me listen to a lot, is I was more to listen to Korn, and he was more to Alice Cooper. That's where we hit that perfect divot. I was like, okay, so am I listening to Korn, or are we doing Alice Cooper? He's like, just listen to Alice Cooper for a little bit, like, look into the old albums. And I'm like, so which one are we looking into? And he would just go from just a basic one, either Mr. Nice Guy or whatever. Trying to look at the one fucking project that he did as far as the album, and that was a very, very dark album. I think it was Dada, I think. That was Alice Cooper's album, where it was like very, very that had the Black Widow on it. God damn it, what's the album? You guys are probably not a big Alice Cooper fan, are you?
I mean, I wouldn't say I'm a big, I don't know. I mean, I like Alice Cooper, but I couldn't tell you his albums.
I know who the guy is.
I could sing probably a handful of songs and tell you about some songs, but
School's out.
Factory Farm says, "Welcome to my nightmare." I don't know if that's the answer, but that's a answer.
Yeah.
I don't know
Better than what we got.
I don't know if it's the answer, but it is a answer.
It's all good. But essentially,
I mean,
yeah, I just enjoyed
School's
the
out.
Dark theme. So yeah.
Summer.
Feed my Frankenstein
For summer.
But yeah.
There you go. Holy shit. So there's I appreciate it, man. There's a lot of stuff going on in this music, and there's a lot.
I like it too, and another thing too, which I enjoy, which I'm pretty sure you guys have been seeing a lot more, is more reactions than anything. And I think reactions are pretty good because I feel like for people who like do like my type of genre or my genres or subgenre, like if they're not used to the actual music, then they're not used to the actual like what's being done. So for people who are actually like me, where I have significantly sometimes longer outros and a little more like theatrics as far as feel, they admire it a little more because they want to revisit it, if they enjoyed it, revisit it for certain things they might have missed, rather than just songs that were put together to be heard on the radio and just be classic club hits.
So have you ever thought about joining like a horror theater? Like where you go out and do like horror plays and stuff like that, where they sing and all that shit. Because I feel like that's
singing in a horror play.
Well, I mean, you know,
where do you go?
Repo the Genetic Opera and all that shit. I mean,
I was. Genetic Opera was pretty good, but the ending, I didn't like the ending. I felt they kind of rushed it.
Yeah. Well, Bill Moseley was also in that. But no, like I've been to an Evil Dead musical that was fantastic. I'm just thinking that because he likes the acting side.
You go to drama class? Frank?
Yes.
Yeah.
I did, yes. Believe it or not, that was actually the follow-up between music appreciation, had drama, then public speaking, which public speaking didn't do shit for me because I was like, okay, I'm still stuttering, what the fuck? But there is points to where I actually had fun. Getting into character was one of those things. But drama club was... I never actually fully did drama club. I was more into ROTC, and I had to do that pretty much for the first 4 years. And I was more devout into that. But
yeah,
it was interesting.
Murder skill.
It was fucking weird, dude. Like I said, the girl was fucking weird.
That's like learning murder skills in high school. Like you got the Boy Scouts and then you got ROTC. You know, the two ways of learning murder skills as a young boy.
You either get raped or you learn how to murder.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Let's do.
They're just building fires over there, man. Damn.
I burned not burned. Well, I did that too, but I built a.
You burned your house, and you finally admitted, huh?
I built a birdhouse and a toolbox.
Yeah.
In Boy Scouts.
Yeah.
And no one ever touched me that I recall.
Yeah, that you recall. You suppressed it.
Enough.
Yeah.
Possibly.
No, I just asked that because I feel like that would be like a nice little culmination of where this is going. Like he wanted to be a rapper. He likes the journalism. He likes the drama and
you could be the
acting
Neil Patrick Harris of horrorcore.
Yeah. Who knows? He could be the next Bill Moseley.
You should quote that somewhere on a review or something. You could be the Neil Patrick Harris of horrorcore.
Although he doesn't rap, but
he sings and stuff.
I know, but I feel like he'd be more closely related to Bill Moseley because he's a horror.
He doesn't rap either.
It's actually funny you guys say that as far as horror, because in California, they have a thing right now I've been looking into. It's called a horror house, but it's HAUS, and I guess it's for independent horror films.
Yeah.
Horror house.
I heard of that. The Bunny Ranch, right?
Horror houses are way different.
Horror bastards. Essentially,
it's like French. It's like horror.
Let's do the time.
It's the bunny rats
again.
Yeah,
let's film some movies. Bring out the bunnies.
There you go.
Would you fuck me? I'd fuck me.
I'd fuck me. I like how this turned from a horror film to, hey, would you fuck me?
Oh, yes. It puts the notion on its skin.
I just want to do the time warp again.
Yeah. Just keep throwing it in there.
That's all I got.
Yeah.
Horror singing. That's horror singing.
Yeah. That's what made me go to
just to jump to the
fucking
left.
Buffalo Bill. So we're just gonna tuck it in some panties here. Would you fuck me?
Put the lotion on the skin.
There we go.
Put the lotion. The horror festival is next year, and I was planning on going there for that one reason, because that's one thing I want to get back into and jump into, which, as you guys can kind of tell, I like surrounding myself with people that don't know, like they pretty much know more than I do, because I want to be the sponge in the room. I don't want to be the person that knows too fucking much, because that's when your ego goes up and you just have too much ego to talk to anybody.
Well, your ego's got to be at 10 right now.
None. I'm at 2.
You know way more than we do.
But I'm trying to go there to, one, meet more film producers, probably voice actors if they show up, because I feel if I show up there, which my plan is to go there, and hopefully I'm not the only artist there, because if I am, it's going to be not awkward, but enough to
then you'll be the winner.
Sit in the room and just bounce ideas. But that's one thing I want to get into, is just learn more film producers and how to go about making movies, because I might later on in my lifetime might do film, and I might actually have fun with that. But who knows?
No, shameless plug here, and this is, but I mean this genuinely. We do have a few interviews with some directors on some movies that we've done reviews for, and I feel like if you go back and oh Jesus Christ, the lights just flickered. It's storming here. Goddamn ADD. Anyway, yeah, if you go back and you find the interviews that we've done with some of those directors, I feel like you'll get a lot out of it because they do talk about a lot of the things that you're looking for as far as like producing and all that shit. It's fascinating. Some of the getting started and working with top A-list celebrities and all that stuff. It's really fascinating, especially if you're interested in that type of thing. So yeah, I mean, maybe go back and look at some of the directors that we've done some interviews with. Toot 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 toot.
And then let's do the time warp again. For sure, man. Yeah, I definitely see you going down that path. You need to check out our friend Jay, the J Hex Project. If you're listening, you guys should become best friends. And also, Dean Ray. Are you familiar with him?
I think it's been a while. Could you refresh me?
He's just an underground artist. He's pretty new, but he's got like a pig face. Old pig face Dean. That's what I call him. But he makes he does movies, and he makes like theatrical videos, and he does it all on his own. And he's also a musician, and he does. I almost wanted to describe it as like hair metal horrorcore.
Okay.
Like it's.
I think that was Destiny, Everything and Nothing.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes. You know him.
Yes.
If you know his acronym, then you must know him, because I couldn't have said that, but once you said it, I know it. Yeah, man.
So I think I remember. Yeah, he's pretty cool. I remember the Human Barbecue. I think I've seen that video on the Facebook feed. Yes,
video. He just put it out. Yeah, not that long ago. It's highly impressive. He did that all by himself. Probably not, but
hell yeah.
Shot on an iPhone 10.
Pretty much. I don't know if none of that's true, but it's good, and it's like. You guys are,
I don't know. That's what they say. That's what the kids are saying these days.
But I dig it, because there's like, I mean, I can literally name 2 people that are similar but way different, and I can name 1,000 other people that are the same. Not the same as you, but the same as themselves.
Yeah, the other guys.
That's cool. So like, all you smart, intricate, movie making, nerdy, awesome, scary people should all get together, not kill us.
We should.
And start creating, create their own subgenre. Yeah. Like, you could be founders.
Fucking artcore or some shit.
Yeah, art horrorcore or something. Hardcore or something. I don't fucking know. You smart guys come up with names.
Horror nerd.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there you go.
Scary.
Horror nerd car.
Horror nerd.
Yeah.
Nerdcore. That's already.
I'm bringing in Bruce Campbell. I'm doing it.
There you go.
Yeah. Movie magic core.
There you go.
I don't know what we're saying anymore, but yeah, man, all kinds of dope stuff. You guys are out there listening. You don't know what the hell's going on. Go check it out. The debut album's out now. New single, The System, drops September the 13th.
Yeah.
Delve deep into literally into the mind of LYRIZONE.
Please do.
I got at least one more question for you, and then we're going to talk about this playlist as well. But
I think we should adapt this into like how we normally do for the directors.
We can do that.
I think we should.
So essentially, man, we asked all of our guests the same shit. We're going to make you double it up because you're also the movie and the music guy. So you got 3 records you just can't live without that either inspire you as a person, as an artist, as a man, as a woman, whatever you decide your gender is today. Or, you listen to it when you cry, you listen to it when you're mad. You just could not live without. What 3 records would they be? And then also 3 movies.
Okay. 3 songs: Faster Pussycat, House of Pain, Ramallah, Days of Revenge, and Dead Man Radio by Rob Zombie. 3 movies: Payback, Mel Gibson, would definitely be the original Friday the 13th, first one. And I want to say my last one, Lion King. Just kidding.
I don't know. That's a brutal movie.
It is.
I don't make any grown man cry.
House of a Thousand Corpses for the last one.
Like it.
Payback Mel Gibson. Didn't expect that.
Huh?
All right. You mix all that shit in a blender, and out comes LYRIZONE.
There it
You're
is.
just as confused as you were before.
He did do his homework. He came prepared. He was like, here, let me just fop
He
this
had that
sheet
shit
out
written
here.
down already, man.
Bop.
That's my lyric sheet.
Either
Somebody's
that or
own.
his brain works as fast as I would love my brain to work. Because son of a bitch.
Right. Well, here
Give it time.
we got a playlist here. We're gonna play for the people when we take a break, so they can get a little taste of LYRIZONE. Unfortunately, we can't play everything in perfect order, so the story makes sense. So we're gonna confuse people. But if you have any fun tidbits or you want to break down any of these songs, I'm gonna go over the playlist and you just tell me if you got something you want to say about it. First of all, we got Parasite, LYRIZONE featuring Kung Fu Vampire and Twisted Insane. Nowhere to Hide, Self-Reliant, which is actually a feature on Nomadic's album. And then we have The Intrusion, which you mentioned earlier, featuring Gruesome, Dubs, and Mars. Operation Wake the Dead, featuring our brother Lex the Hexmaster. And then another feature from our friend Loki, Welcome to the Shadowland, along with A-Game and Dirty.
Oh, yeah.
So, is there anything you want to say about any of those songs before the people hear them, or any fun facts, or?
Not yet. I want to hear I want to see the questions when we get back. So I'm looking forward to it.
Okay.
So if they enjoy it.
Well, there you go. We can do that. We can come back after the break. I'm okay with that. All right. Well, we're gonna take. Well, I guess I'm gonna let you, because the YouTube feed's gonna stop when we play the music. So let everybody know where they can find you, where they can follow you, where they can pick up copies, merch, any of that fun stuff, any shout outs, anything you got, and let them know about all that stuff.
All right. The shout outs first will be Greenlight Studios, Joshua Collins, Ned from The Underground, Jonathan McLaughlin from Legion Artwork. But as far as everything else, as far as music, you can find me on all stream platforms, Spotify, iTunes, Google Play. As far as merchandise, go to my shop, LYRIZONE.com is my website. You'll find everything there where we have models doing photo shirts with the merchandise. You have bios, blogs, video recommendations, reaction video, stuff I put together behind the scenes from the album. You'll find how I made the Panic Room skit in the last project and the sound effect and what we did. Just go to LYRIZONE.com and LYRIZONE/shop to find the merchandise.
There you go. Everything's available right there. We're going to take a break. We're going to play some music. If you're on the YouTube, again, the stream is going to stop. Head on over to repliconradio.com, or if you're listening to the replay, none of this matters. And we'll be back after the music.